connected. Can you see me now? All right. I'm working now because it's actually recording now. All right. So here we go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of From the Soapbox. This is OBJ. I'm your host for the evening, and I got as a special guest Mr. Alan Spank J. Sims. What's going on, Mr. Sims? I hear you. Not much, not much. Man, today we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. Today we're going to talk about relationships. Traditional back in the day versus the modern crew and the way they do things and how it affects us and what we are putting into it versus getting out of it. First question I want to ask you is, do you consider yourself a traditionalist or a modern man? Or a modern man would be somebody who is adapted and conforms to the standards of today's modern women. All right, a modern woman would be somebody who, okay, she exudes that boss bitch energy. She can take care of herself. She gets her own money. She does her own things. She doesn't need anybody but herself. That's a modern woman, as opposed to a traditional back in the day woman who is she's more of a housewife. She does the cooking, she does the cleaning, she raises the children. She's subservient and subservient in the sense that she lets her man take the lead. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Um, along those lines, especially with the last point that you made in taking care and doing the whole thing versus just the sex part. Um, do you think that modern women want the same things that a traditional woman would want. Why is that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. But will it though? Right. 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 Okay. Looking back on things that we've done up to this point, and the relationships that we've had, and the trials and tribulations that we've had to go through, all that good stuff. Would you say that you're in a better place now than you were in with when you were younger? Mm. True. True. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. 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 Mm. Mm. All right. Let's back up just a little bit. You mentioned before about that wonderful concept called love. What in your mind is what is love in your head to where you feel? What is love? Mm. Somebody loves you back. Yeah, it is. Knowing that the love is reciprocated both ways, not just a one-way transaction. Well, that goes even further than that. It's not so much our love is the key catalyst at all. But if you do that to somebody and somebody says, hold up, I don't appreciate what you're doing. Could you mind, not doing that? If you respect them, not even love, because love is love. If you think about it, love is the ultimate form of respect. You respect somebody so much that you've taken it to another level. You transcended the the rules of friendship and you transcended to a higher plane. So if you respect them, you're like, all right, you know what? I respect that. I may not agree with it. I respect it, and as a result of respecting it, I will change my ways. And in that, because that right there speaks volumes as to the type of person you are. Um, Going back to the original topic, which was relationships then versus now, and all that stuff. Um, what would you say to the notion that modern women have corrupted modern men to the point where modern men are now opting out of today's dating place, but they are the marketplace.
You know what? I ain't gonna lie.
It, mm, yeah. Mm. Mm, mm, right, right. Well said, my brother. Well said. Um, all right, you touched on something when you talked about the whole misogyny thing. Um, Looking at it through the eyes of a man, is misogyny actually a thing? Can you honestly say that men can be misogynist because, or is it a construct that's made by modern feminists who are trying to I'm trying to get to a better place in society?
See, the problem is like you can.
Mm, Mm. Sounds sounds like a cop out, but all right. It sounds like a bit of a cop out, but we'll let that rock. No worries. Yeah, it's an open forum. Right. But that is the man's adaptation, and there's a key word right there, adaptation. In order for guys to succeed in today's world, they feel that whatever the women are asking for, they need to give, which is why a lot of men are getting more feminine because the women are complaining, you guys aren't in your feelings, you don't tell us how you feel, you're being rough, you're being hard, all this other stuff. Yeah. What were they talking about then? Expand on that. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right.
A lot of
Mm. Well, they were there. They just weren't available to us. They've always right. They were always there. More important, more to the point. More to the point. Yeah. Right. Mm. Right, right. Mm. 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 Yeah. I'm happy. I'm happy for you, man. That's something that you don't hear, especially in today's times. You don't hear that as often as you think that you would or that you could. Um, maybe one day we'll get her on the show. Maybe one day we'll get her on the show. Who knows? Um, I said maybe one day we'll get her on the show. I said maybe one day, yeah, maybe one day we'll get her on the show, and the three of us can kick it, that sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. I'll tell her I give her my love too. Um, we got about 5 minutes before I have to jump off, go get the missus. Um, coming full circle, getting back to this whole thing about relationships and stuff like that. Now, you consider yourself more of a traditional man than a modern man. Is there any hope for today's modern men, or do you think they're just doomed to spiral down into the cesspool of toxic femininity and all this other stuff like that? Do you think that? Yeah. Do you think there's any? No. Do you think there's any for modern men? Do you think there's any hope that they can somehow find their way back to being more traditional, or is it just it is what it is?
I mean, I'm going to
Mm. All right, that y'all heard it right there. That's Alan Spank J Sims. Um, Black Steel's in the house. Um, is there any social media plugs that you want to give everybody to follow you if they want to follow you? All right, all right. Well, we definitely want you to come back, man, because we're gonna spend more time, get more deeper into this thing, because there's so many questions I want to ask you, and it's good and it's really refreshing to hear somebody who's not afraid to speak their mind, speak their truth. So it is appreciated, Alan. Thank you very much. And all right, once again, this is OBJ thanking everybody for listening. If you like the content, click the like button. It's just 1 second, and it goes a long way in helping us get to where we need to get to. And if you want to really rock with us, there's the subscribe button. There are other ways you can do it. Thank you all very much for coming and listening to us. And until the next, this is OBJ saying peace.
What's up?
What's up, man? How you living?
Chilling.
I hear that.
Where'd you cut your hair off?
Huh?
When did you cut your hair off?
Man, it's been like this. I haven't had hair in a while
Yeah?
because it don't grow right no more.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. My hair does the same thing. Like it grow right here.
Yep. And it don't grow on the top.
It looked like your hairline even better than mine. Mine's just further back than yours. Mine was like this.
Really?
See, it's like this. Yeah.
Dang, man.
That's why I just shaved it off.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's enough. Um, 1 second, my friend. 1 second.
You don't like
No. I don't like the Commanders.
Commanders are whack.
Didn't the Giants beat them yesterday?
The Giants beat the Titans yesterday.
Or they beat the Titans?
Yeah. I know Denise was probably going crazy.
My team lost.
Who is your team?
Carolina.
Okay, so you're not a Falcons fan?
No, no.
All right.
Can't. I've had people say, man, you need to be a Falcon just where you live. Like, I don't care.
Nah, fuck that.
I don't like them.
Panthers got Baker Mayfield.
I know. I'm on the fence about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who did he just start? Did he last week? Yes, he started.
Mm-hmm.
And they still lost?
Yep.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Man, say what you want. They still lost. Or you Cam haters. I'm serious, man. There's some people, and then, oh, Cam sucks, man. It's like, yeah, well, look, you can say what you want. The problem is, he lost too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Dallas lost.
They got
I think
asses whooped.
But yeah, and Dak's out.
He's out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, that's them. They're going.
Yeah.
Means it's going to be between the Giants and the Eagles.
Washington won yesterday.
What he did?
Yep. I think they beat Jacksonville. Yep, sure did. Yep.
Oh man. Then again, everybody beat Jacksonville, so that's
Well, they were losing to him at first.
Well, they were?
Yep. It was a close game. I think the NFL finally got the talent spread out evenly across the entire line. If Detroit can start winning, they'd be good.
Oh. See that?
Oh, cool.
I'm using my other phone as a camera.
Oh, okay. How much that light cost?
This one I actually got for nothing.
Really?
They're about $15.
That's it?
Yeah, they're not much.
Oh, wow.
You guys got an Ollie's by you, don't you? Somewhere like an Ollie's or something like that.
Do we have a what?
An Ollie's.
What is that?
It's a bargain store.
I think we have DDs. Is it a discount store for like electronics and stuff? Or just a discount?
Oh no, they sell everything in that store.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We probably got something like that, but it ain't called Ollie's. Or I don't know.
All right, let me grab one more thing and we can get started real quick. Hold on.
All right.
Okay, you ready, man?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. All right. Oh shit! I've been recording
Huh.
all this time.
You can edit it again, huh?
Huh?
You can edit it, huh?
Yeah, I can edit it. So it's all right. Okay. Welcome to yet another edition of From the Soapbox, the show where you guys get a unique perspective on things from another perspective. Blah, 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 blah. And real quick, before we get started, if you like the show, if you like the content, please hit the like button. It takes about a second to do, and it goes a long way in getting the YouTube algorithms to promote the show so we get grow organically, and that's the idea. We want to grow it. If you really want to rock with it, you want to support it, hit the subscribe button so that you can get on our page, and hit the notification bell to let you know when we go live or get new content up on the YouTube servers. Okay, let's get into the show. Now, today's show will be a show dealing with a statement that the great Chris Rock once said. And he said, "A man is only as faithful as their options." We're going to dive into that. And with us on the show is once again the Spank Shame Master,
Dang.
Alan
He
Sim.
did say that.
Yo, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
How you doing? How you
Just
doing?
chilling.
That's good. That's good. All right, let's get started by asking a very simple question.
I forgot Chris Rock said that.
He did. He said it on I think it was Bigger and Blacker, I think it was. But he said a man is only as faithful as his options. Let's start by asking you, how do you feel about that statement? Is there any truth to it?
I don't think so.
And why is that? Why do you think that's not true?
Because you have to make up in your mind that's who you want to be with. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that some people they just genetically made up that, I mean, it's hard for people to believe. There's a lot of guys out there that don't cheat. You know what I'm saying? There are.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand what he's talking about, but I don't
Mm.
necessarily agree with
Okay. Let me give you a couple of stats that I've gained
you. Okay.
to listen to other people and do my research. Now, there's a study out that shows that 1 out of 3 men are either born again virgins, which means they haven't had sex in the last year, or haven't had sex at all.
1 in 3?
1 in 3.
I believe that.
So 33% of men are getting nothing.
I believe that.
Okay. So knowing that and taking that as a fact, those guys don't have any options. So
Right.
they do find a woman, they're gonna be like, "Ooh, I got a woman. I ain't gonna mess this up," and they're gonna stay with her because there's nothing else to them, you know, to occupy their thoughts. They're not looking at anything else. They got a person. They're happy with the person they got. They're gonna stay with it. That's cool. The question then becomes, though, is of let's say the top 10% of guys out there. Those are the guys who have their pick of the litter.
Mm-hmm.
They're the jocks. They're the athletes. They're the entertainers. They're the good-looking guys. They have options. Matter of fact, their options. You can say that a couple runners over, they have so many options.
Yeah.
So knowing that and understanding what people are saying in that, do you honestly think that having options can detract from a relationship?
Absolutely, it can. If you feed into that, you know what I'm saying? If you know that you can sleep with any girl you want to and they coming on to you, or if you're flirtatious or whatever, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Don't mean that it's
So
but yeah.
so knowing that, then where Chris Rock said there is some truth to it, where because a man is only as faithful as his options. In other words, okay, if I'm with somebody, I consider myself a solid six, seven and a half on a good day,
So of what?
in terms of looks.
You're a 10. Don't
Yeah,
short
whatever,
yourself.
whatever, Alex. Whatever,
You
whatever.
look like me, you're a 10. I look like you're a 10.
All right, but anyway, be that as it may, regardless of how you rate yourself, if you're walking down the street, a guy with no options, with very little options, will walk down that street and go from point A to point B completely unhindered. Matter of fact, girls will go out of their way to go out of his way so they don't have to look at him. On the other side, if I'm going from point A to point B, I'm constantly being talked to, I'm being hit on, I'm being wolf whistled, all the other stuff like that. Because let's face it, women catcall too.
Yeah.
They say they don't, but they do.
They do.
They do. Now, whether I get with them or not is immaterial to this conversation. It's simply the fact that I can. They are options, and they've opened themselves up to me.
Mm.
So knowing that, and having people say you're only as faithful as your options, what would be your way of trying to talk a person out of that lifestyle? Because they have options. And when you have options, the temptation is greater. And being that we guys are hardwired to chase and mate, we're going to go for it. I mean, that's what the whole thing comes down to, is the fact that guys are hardwired to spread their seed. That is our primary function in nature. Whether you believe in creation or evolution or whatever you believe in, our purpose in this life is to spread our seed, be fruitful, and become many and multiply. How would you go about telling somebody, well, maybe you don't want to do that, and you're talking to somebody who can and probably will stray away from his relationship simply because he has options?
Well, I'm gonna say this, and this is a true statement. If you're in a relationship and you're first of all, you have to know what you want, and you have to know who you want. I mean, I think sometimes for us guys, I mean, who has ever given a class or a movie written about or a play or whatever about a guy choosing and what he wants? You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't exist.
Exactly. So it's like if you know what you want, some guys just all they want to do is what you said. They just want to spread their seed. They just want to spread their seed. Then that's you. There are other guys who aren't like that. They just want to be in a monogamous relationship. They want to be they love love. And they love being in love. And they find someone to be in love with. And that person loves them. You know, every relationship doesn't work, you know what I'm saying? But I think sometimes this is just me speaking. I think sometimes when a person feels as though they're not getting they're missing something at home, that's when things start to become options.
Okay, all right.
Or even,
Um,
and I can even go back and say, like, you could be with a girl or be with a woman, and like, cause women know men who are with women. They know. It's how you look. It's how you present. It's everything about you. And then they be like, well, I want that. You know what I'm saying? And then some guys be like, well, she's hot, or her conversation good, whatever it is that leads them into that, and then boom, there you go. But I mean, I just feel as though if a man knows what he wants in a woman, if a man knows what he wants in a woman, and he's getting it, there won't be no other options.
all right, that's cool. That's cool. Now, I'm gonna throw a little curveball into the mix. Now, you said before that if a man, no, you said that men that don't have options don't have options, are basically they're in for love and they're looking for love and this other stuff like that. To put that into context, data from popular dating apps has supplied us with women swipe right about between 8 and 9 times out of 10. Guys swipe right at 50%, half, which tells you that women today are proving to be a bit more picky than guys in their dating purposes. Do you think that's true?
Absolutely,
Why?
because it has a lot to do with our society and our culture. Like for example, for some reason I don't know why people believe this shit, but you got people running around here thinking that everybody in Atlanta is rich because of what they see on TV. And it makes and you got these Real Housewives and all these shows, and they don't work, they don't do shit. 12 or 2 o'clock every afternoon on Tuesday, they eating in some restaurant, some shit. So they think that's what it's like in Atlanta. That's just what it's like in their life. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But that's not
right.
what it's like. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit happens. That shit happens here in Austin. But I just think that when you're talking about a guy and him having options, you almost have to see the way Chris Rock made that statement. For me, it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like he's justifying the fact that there are men that cheat, and this is why they cheat. So I have a problem with that. You understand what I'm saying? Because I know women who have done everything for their man, and he has still gone out and cheated. Why? Was he not getting some at home? I just said, for me, I think if a guy's not getting some at home, then he's gonna go out there. But there are some people who do. So why did he do it? Some guys are just wired, like you said. Some guys are just wired like that. They just want to fuck everything that they can whenever they want to, and don't tell me no. You know what I'm saying? And it's harder when your status is celebrity and professional athlete and politician. It's harder because, like you said, you got that influx of that all around you all the time. And like I tell people now every day, everybody's got a motive. So you may think I want you because you're fine, but the only reason why I want to sleep with you is because I can get something from you. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like while you saying on the one hand, well, I got options, or girl want to give me, she on the other hand saying, well, this nigga about to pay my rent because I'm about to give him. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's. I don't think that you can just wrap this all up in one thing and then be like, okay, this is what it is. I don't think so because, like, he cheated, didn't he cheat?
Who?
Chris Rock.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He cheated. I mean, why? Because he has options. He ain't a good looking nigga. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the whole thing. And I've learned that in my foray into the music world, you don't have to be a good looking guy.
Right.
You just have to be in the public eye.
Right.
Look at Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
Mick Jagger is objectively an ugly human being.
Yeah.
There are no redeeming qualities on that man whatsoever. And I bet you money, the dollar to doing it right here and right now, that man gets sex whenever he wants.
Mick Jagger can have sex whenever he wants to.
Right.
Who's willing, you know what I'm saying?
Because of who he is.
Keith Richards, old ass. You know, all those guys. I mean, but it's like when you at that status, it can be hard because it's thrown at you all the time. But I think you just have to be in the mindset as a man that this is who I want to be with because this is who I'm in love with. And I think if you come from that standpoint and you look at it that way, then it doesn't become a matter of what your options are because you're not even thinking about your options. I mean, the only reason why you would think about options is because you don't like what you have. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but okay. One person that I listened to a podcast of, just Pearly Things and shameless plug, you guys should go out and listen to her. She really knows her stuff. That's very good content. She once was saying along those lines that guys that sleep around, not necessarily because they can, but more along the lines because how to say, though these guys sleep around because females and females want it. And along those lines, I'll tell you this. There's statistics that prove that 80% of women want 20% of men. And that's why women fight with each other over guys because they all have this idea. And it's the 666 rule. 6 feet, 6 pack, 6 inches. That's what they want. Or at least that's what they say they want. And then you can throw another in there, six figures. So guys those guys, these guys that you see every day, the average Joe, don't even come close to that. If they got one that's lucky.
Right.
And the things that they're being judged with, they can't control. You can't control how tall you are. Or you can diet, you can fix your abs. You can't control your size.
Yeah.
Unless you go through all these painful procedures.
Yeah.
So you got guys that hear women talking like this. This is what they want. This is what they want. This is what they want. Yet there's no way for them to live up to these expectations. At least not realistically.
I would tell a guy, don't try it. Because like it's kind of like you almost said it. I think you said it, but it's almost like they make these expectations, but they too damn high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In their lifetime, they probably will never come across a guy with all of that at the
They
same time.
won't.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
won't. Exactly. They won't.
So it's like you've already made these expectations that you ain't gonna, you know, you probably never get to. But at the same time, you're gonna want it from me? Nah. See, that's how I know that we will never be compatible. Cause I'm 5'9", and my 6-pack days are over. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they set those conditions. If they set those conditions, it ain't for me to fulfill them. That's the one thing that guys gotta understand. If a woman has set those conditions, if that's what she wants, well then go find it, baby. That's what you want. But that's not going to be me, and I'm not going to change myself to be me. I'm not going to break my back and break my neck and work 5 or 6 jobs just so I can make 6 figures because that's what you want. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? That's bullshit. I would I would tell a guy, know who you want. Know what you want inside of you. What do you want? What do you want your dream girl to be? Do you even think you want a dream girl? And it's cool for you to be by yourself too. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that's a conversation that a lot of people are not really having. I hear a lot of things. I see a lot of things on TikTok and stuff like that, and YouTube, and all these people talking about relationships and stuff like that. And you hear the women saying that it's hard for them to get men, and the men are saying it's hard to get y'all, and y'all in the same fucking room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what y'all are talking about, y'all talking about how hard it is to get one another. But what you're not doing, but all y'all are doing is being fake. Just stop being fake. And if you don't judge me, you know what? You'll probably like who I am. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna tell you, man. I didn't think. Okay, so I'm of the mindset that if I'm of the mindset was of the mindset that there's no way in the world I could be like with a gorgeous woman. Because, I'm not that. I'm not 6 feet, almost making 6 figures, and I don't have a 6-pack. So I'm thinking to myself, I'll probably never get a gorgeous woman. But the thing that happened was I met Gayla online. I met her on blackpeoplemeet.com, and I saw her picture. She's gorgeous. So I was like, you know what? Call me now. And I just started being myself. Come to find out she loved me. You know what I'm saying? Will it happen for everybody? I don't know. But you'll never know if you don't try, and you can't live up to somebody else's standards. Like it's all in music now and everything. You got hip hop artists who want to be gangsters and ain't even gangsters, and they doing stupid stuff and being stupid stuff. All the women hip hop artists now they act like strippers. You know what I'm saying?
Or sounding like dudes.
And dudes.
Or they sound like dudes.
And if you don't act like that, then you don't get on. So it's kind of like, everybody's just being fake. And nobody wants to be real. And then they look at people like you and me, these OGs and these old heads, and y'all don't know nothing. Did you ever think that anybody would tell that about you?
No, man.
Did you ever think that somebody would say, oh, man, you're old. You don't know what you're talking about. What? Man, these kids think they know everything. And I guess we thought we knew everything too.
So do we. So do we.
But I guess the difference is with us is that we weren't as boisterous about it. How about that?
We weren't in your face about it.
We weren't as in your face about it.
We would talk about it between.
We would talk about it with our friends, and we'd be mad as shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But we would never speak like that.
That wouldn't turn into like a protest or something where people feel like, oh, you old people need to get the fuck out of here because y'all know what the fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? It didn't turn into that shit. You know what I'm saying? There was a respect for our elders.
And that's one thing. That's one thing that I think that is desperately needed. That I don't know how we do it because things have gone so far to the left or to the right, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
They've gone so far off the road that I don't know if there's a way to get back. There is no respect.
None.
At all. And people tend, and once again, we won't bring up any names, and you know what I'm talking about when I say this, but people don't talk to people, they talk at people.
Right.
They talk they talk at opposite ends,
Right.
where you guys could actually agree on something,
Right.
but because you have your opinions don't your actually not your opinions, your reasonings don't align perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you're in a disagreement, but
Disagreeing,
you're not.
what you really are, yeah. Because you ain't
See,
saying it the way that I want you to say it.
right. Like for example, okay, I could say, Alan, the sky is blue,
Mm-hmm.
and you can say, yeah, the sky is blue. Yeah. And I can say the sky is blue because God's eye is blue, and He's looking at us. And that's what you see. And you may say, well, whoa, wait a minute. That's not how I thought it happened. I thought it happened by whatever you think. Now, are we thinking the same? Are we the same conclusions? Yeah, the conclusions are exactly the same.
Yeah, because the sky is blue.
Right.
How
The
you get to that
methodology,
is a different thing.
right.
Yeah.
And because of that, that can turn into a full blown argument, and it's based upon a common shared belief. So if that's the case, if people are having problems agreeing to stuff that they inherently agree on, what chances there are people agreeing on stuff that they are ideologically opposed to? I did a show about a week or so ago, and it's called An Uncomfortable Truth, and I was talking about being a centrist and why being a centrist, why I was a centrist, and all that stuff like that. The reason why I consider myself a centrist is because, and this is something else that Chris Rock alluded to too, is that I am both liberal and conservative. I am red and I am blue. So there are certain things I lean more to conservative side, and there's certain things I lean more liberal side.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make me a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me a well-grounded person.
Mm-hmm.
And the main problem I see with society today is that there's no such thing as a well-grounded person. People are either to the left or to the right.
Well, you got to
And
be
there are
on the
degrees
side.
to the left and degrees to the right.
You got to be on the side. You got to pick a side.
Right. And up to recently, I was thinking I might have to pick a side because this is just crazy. Things going on, and there are things that they were doing that I don't believe in at all, like the whole abortion thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, full disclosure, I do not agree with abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up a Jehovah's Witness, we didn't believe in that,
Mm-hmm.
and there's certain things that I learned then that I still believe now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe in that. However, I also believe that it is nobody's right, but that woman and her doctor and whatever God she worships to determine whether the baby is terminated or not. You and I, as individuals, have no say in it. We can't have any say in it. We don't carry the baby to term. All we do is we participate and we fertilize the egg. And then our job is done.
Well, this is where, when you were talking about the sky is blue remark, this is how this comes about. See, I agree. I think that abortion is wrong, and I agree. I don't think that anybody has the right to tell a woman what she should do with her body. But I do have a say if I'm paying for it. So that's the whole problem and the whole thing that I think that everybody's missing about the abortion argument. Listen, the states can legalize abortion. They can do that. The federal government can't do that because if a woman goes to get an abortion, now think about this. You just said that you were a Jehovah's Witness and you still believe in some of those things and you still stand for some of those morals, right?
Right.
Now think about this. What if the federal government legalizes abortion, women go get abortions? How do those abortions, who pays for those abortions? The American taxpayer.
No.
Yes.
And
Where's
the
the money
reason why they don't is because the federal government doesn't subsidize them.
Owen, if there is a free clinic, that is taken care of by the federal government. So yes, they do. But now they said that they don't. All they did was push that responsibility back on the states and say, y'all deal with it. It's not a federal thing anymore. And the reason why it's not a federal thing is because you can't mandate a person like me who believes that abortion is wrong, and you taking my tax dollars and paying for it. That's wrong. You cannot do that. And that's what that whole now people can. And I'm gonna tell you honestly, honest to goodness. I am a Christian, and I love Jesus Christ. He is my Lord and Savior. But the people who are in Washington D.C. who call themselves Christians are not Christians.
No, they're not.
Those guys who say that this argument is for pro-life, they are lying. They are lying.
It's
That's not what
pro-birth.
this is about. What this is about is money. That's also because if this was about pro-life, what the federal government would have done was said, from now on, in the United States of America, regardless of what state it is, you cannot get an abortion. They can't do that. The reason why they can't do that is because each state is independently run. Federal government can't subsidize abortions. Not on my tax dollars. That's what that argument's about. They can talk about, oh, this is about pro-life. You guys are murdering babies. Hell, y'all murder old people. Y'all murder young people. You murder everybody. We got a drug problem in this country that ain't like nothing. This making crack look like fucking shit. This fentanyl and these opioids and shit. These people are ODing on and stuff like that. And y'all have no answer for it.
And it's legal. That's the kicker. These drugs are illegal. It's not even like they're illegal drugs.
Because the people who make those drugs get paid and they kick back to the fucking politicians. That's
Right.
why. So it's like when people say make that argument about abortion, I hear what you're saying and I agree. Man, I ain't got no right to tell no woman what to do with her body unless I'm paying for it. But now I'm not paying for it. So it's a moot point to me.
But but are they allowed to get it still though?
Say what?
But are they still allowed? But okay, so all right, so the government's now said, I've got the point to say, okay, that's it. We're out. You states can deal with it.
Right.
And the states, or I should say, and here's where the divide really kicks into play. The states are along the line where you have Democratic leaning states that are like, oh well, that's wrong that the government has done that, but we're still going to allow you to do it.
Right.
And then you got the conservative states that are like, oh good, the government said you can't do it, so now we're saying you can't do it. And that in itself is why the government got into it in the first place, because they were in this position where these are American citizens. They're exercising, or they're attempting to exercise their First Amendment rights, and the states are telling them no, and that's wrong. You can't tell them no, because at the end of the day, what a woman does or doesn't do with her body is totally her choice.
Right.
Hence the my body, my choice argument.
Right.
And the government has said, well, look, if you guys can't get it through your heads that this is wrong, we'll do it for you. And so for the past 50 years, you could get an abortion anywhere in any of the 50 states.
Right.
You had to pay for it.
Right.
But they also had plans where if you couldn't pay for it, like, and this is where your argument comes in, if you didn't have money to pay for it, they could help you through it.
Right.
And now this conservative leaning judge, and this is another thing that drives me crazy. This is a topic for another day, but also what's been happening for the past 50 years is that the Republicans have done a long-term strategy in which we're going to pack the Supreme Courts, we're going to pack this local and city and state governments, and we're going to take over the country on a down low.
Right.
Where that you can say what you want, but you can't do what you want.
Right.
Because we're going to stop you.
Right.
And so what happens is that when they got their conservative majority, the And another thing. See, excuse my rant, man, but
Right.
this for me touches a nerve because in any other um, field that you may be in any job, anything like that, you could lose your job for trivial bullshit. Doesn't have to be, and down here in the South, and you're aware of this too in Texas, they got I forget the name of the law, but basically they can fire you and don't have to tell you why.
Yeah. It's I forget what it's called. Yeah.
Right to work. It's the right to work.
Yeah.
And they did it. They did it. Well, I remember when they did it. They did it about 2008, 2009. And they disguised it by saying, well, if you want to leave your job, you can leave your job and you don't have to say why. And on the other side, the business don't have to either.
Right.
Now, on the outside, that sounds good.
Right.
What they don't tell you, though, is that you just gave businesses carte blanche to basically kick you out. Now,
And
to make it
pay you unemployment.
right, and now's the kicker,
Right.
because they take that as a voluntary termination,
Right.
and as a voluntary termination, they don't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
They can say, "Well, hey, he quit, so we don't have to pay him nothing," and you're sitting there going, "But," and it's like, "Well, hey, it is what it is," and because of that. You get people who now think, well, if they can do it with jobs, why can't they do that with reproductive rights? If we can get enough of this justices to say we don't want it, we can overturn it. Now they did half the job because the ultimate goal was, as you said, to ban abortion outright. What the justices did is say, well, we're not gonna enforce it. We're gonna let you guys enforce it.
Right.
So this way, if things do go left, the government can say, well, it's us. All we told you guys to do was to handle yourselves. We didn't tell them to do that. But looking at it logically, and this is the other thing that gets me with people. All these rules that people come up, that men have come up with, all of them, affirmative action, equal rights, all that stuff like that. All these rights wouldn't even be a factor if stupid ass people acted right in the first place.
Yeah.
You wouldn't need it.
But you're talking about living in a perfect world now.
Right. And in a perfect world, in a utopia, everybody's living their best life.
Right.
There's no strife. There's nothing like that. And everybody's good. But we're as far from that as you could possibly get and still be mammals.
Yeah.
And it's like, these people, it's like, how do you sleep at night? Now, to what you said, going back to abortion, okay, the Supreme Court said it's not our mandate to do. We're going to let the states do that. But if men in power didn't frown upon, and when I say people in power, I'm talking more states than federal government, because states are the ones that enforce the will. It's like when people, okay, like example, I don't know if you heard it, but about a month or so ago, there was a 10-year-old girl from Ohio who got raped by her father or her brother, something like that. Found out she was pregnant, went to the doctors. The doctor said, we can't help you. In order for her to get the help she needed, she had to go to Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And now there are laws, like I heard what they want to do in Texas, was that they want to get you, they'd say if you even talk to somebody about it, you're in trouble. They do that here in Georgia. Well, I've heard of instances where people have had wanted abortions, and they're like, we can't help you. Right. Because if we even attempt to steer you in the right direction, we could be held liable for that. We could be sued for that.
Right.
And all this because people can't mind their fucking businesses. If you don't want an abortion, don't have one. If you don't like gay people, don't be one. It's really that simple.
It really isn't that simple.
Why?
Let's use your affirmative action argument for a second. So affirmative action is supposed to benefit us coloreds, right? So how far can you go with affirmative action?
As far as the system lets you.
Okay, so does that mean? So how does that work? If you have a white person who's equally qualified and a black person who's equally qualified, what is affirmative action?
Affirmative action says that based upon the makeup of your company, and this is what people don't understand.
Yeah.
Based on the makeup of your company,
Yeah.
if you have so many whites, so many blacks, and the blacks are as many as the whites, you are required by law to hire the white person.
So guess what I've just done? I've just assigned a token Negro, and I've just made a white person pissed. I've just pissed a white person off. So affirmative action don't help nobody. It really doesn't. The intent of the law was good. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, that doesn't help anyone. I've elected a Negro, and I've pissed off a white person. So now, and then on both sides of the spectrum, you got this white person going home talking about, I just lost my fucking job to a fucking nigger because they got to hire niggas all the fucking time. Then you got the black person talking about, they hired me, I'm the fucking token Negro up in that motherfucker. I don't even want to be up in there. You know what I'm saying? It didn't do anything. All it did was, it said, black people, yeah, you guys can work here. You can, yeah. And if there's a place that's all white and both of y'all got the same credentials, and yeah, we got to put the black people. But I mean, how often does that happen? See, that's the problem with any law that man writes, because
there's always ways around it.
But what's his intent? What's his intent in writing that law? That's what I'm saying. People don't miss the argument about abortion and what their intent was. Their intent was not about pro-life or pro-choice. It was strictly a financial move. It was. Because you didn't ban it throughout the entire country. You didn't. You didn't say no woman in the United States can have an abortion. You know you can do it. You've done bullshit like that before in the past.
At least not yet. And that's the pushback they get now, is because Republicans now have gotten to the point where they're saying the quiet things out loud. Back in the day, there would be some sort of decorum, there'd be civility. They would have these thoughts, but they would keep these thoughts to themselves and speak to them their own kind behind closed doors. As time has gone on, especially after the reign of 145, he basically told people, you can say that stuff. I don't care. You can say it. Don't be afraid to say it. Be proud. Say it with your chest. And they have said it with their chest.
Yeah.
Loudly and oftenly. So you get to the point where people are like, you should get an abortion, and another thing. And that's all fine and good. But my argument with that is, okay, you say you're pro-life. What happens to that child after it's born? I'll tell you what happens to it. You don't want to feed it because it's so wick and stuff like that. They don't want to get that out. You want to clothe it because you don't pay a living wage for anybody to do something like that. You don't want to school it. All the things that these three basic things that a child needs to grow, Republicans don't want. So if they don't want it, how the fuck can you say you're pro-life? You're pro-birth. After the child's birth, you're on your own. I don't care what you do. As a matter of fact, get out of my face. But before the child's born, oh no, you can't tell. You can kill a child. You can kill a child. So Which one is it? You can't be pro-life up until the actual moment of birth and then basically be a party of death afterwards. And that's what they're doing. How can you honestly sit there and say that all life is sacred? And as you said yourself, they kill everybody else at any other time in their lives, whenever they want, for whatever reason they want.
For whatever reason. They make up a reason.
That's right. You didn't have to be a real reason.
Just make one up.
So if that's the case, and you can kill with impunity, how can you be pro-life?
So again, the whole pro-life argument, they wrapped it up in Christianity. That's what they did. To even make people want to even talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's an ugly truth of life. People, there's incest, there's rape, whatever reason a woman doesn't want to have a baby, that's between her and her God. But it's dumb to say, but what they just haven't understood or never will understand, we as men on this earth, is that there's not a law that you can write that can control a person's heart and mind. There's not one law that you can write that can control Owen's heart or Alan's heart. Because we're going to do what we want to do anyway. Now, who's getting hurt in the process? That's when the law comes into play. Who's responsible for this mess? That's when the law comes into play. You know what I'm saying? Listen to what you said about the girl in Georgia. What happened to the father? What was the story about the father?
He's running around fine.
In Alan's utopia, you know what would have happened? If there was no abortion, it would have been like this. Oh, you got your daughter pregnant? Okay, so I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna abort this baby. We're gonna put your ass in fucking jail. That's what should have fucking happened. See what I'm saying? But that doesn't happen. You just keep going on and on and on about. You keep creating laws that all you're doing is trying to regulate, but you can't regulate a man's heart or his mind. You can't. If you could, it would have been done a long time ago. That's why
I won't stop. That's not for lack of trying. That doesn't mean they're not gonna try. I mean, that's what a lot of these laws are now for. It's like the whole thing with 45 and the things that have come to light. Especially, let's not even look at his presidency. Let's turn to what he's done since he's left office. The man has classified, top secret, and SCI information in an unsecured location. If you do that, if I do that, we're not going to jail. They're throwing us underneath the jail until that rots. And then when it rots, they'll dig it up, build a new jail, and throw us underneath that. I mean, and that's the truth. And mainly it's because we happen to be brown. We people are darker than blue.
Yeah.
But even still, if it was anybody else, they'd be done for. But because it's a rich, white, heterosexual male.
There you go. Who's powerful.
Who's powerful. Even that concept is fleeting because his power is based on a lie. And as more people, this won't happen soon enough for me, but as more people are made aware of this lie, his power will erode, and they'll get to a point where he won't be able to do anything.
That's not. That'll never happen.
Oh, and it won't. It won't happen because there are people that are going to follow him to the ends of the earth to the day they die.
Because they believe in him.
Right.
They believe that he's right.
Even when he's dead wrong.
Yeah, and they don't think
and that's the thing.
But they don't think he's dead wrong because what he's saying resonates with them. It does.
But why does it resonate? It resonates with them
they believe in him. They believe that bullshit he be saying. Yeah.
Because it's things that they've said out of sight in the dark corners with their own kind
Exactly.
that have been given voice to.
Exactly.
One thing I'll say, along those lines, I'll say this. I used to listen to Howard Stern back in the day when he was on 90 WKTU.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was a long
FCC was always after him, constantly after him.
Mm-hmm.
And one day he was talking about people who were saying they didn't want to hear him. And he said this, and it resonated with me, and I never forgot it. He said, everyone says that they don't like me. If you really don't like me, stop listening to me. Because when enough people stop listening to me, I'll go away. And people didn't do that. People did. All you had to do was not listen to this man. But they listened to him. Why? Because they wanted to see what he was going to say, or hear what he was going to say, so they can talk about it with their friends and have conversations all day long.
Yeah.
And a lot of things he does, he doesn't necessarily believe it. He is the original. He was clickbait before clickbait was a thing.
Yeah.
He would say things to get people up in arms.
Right. He would. Like
he was the epitome of a shock job.
He was. He's the king of shock jobs. They call him the king of shock jobs. I think Howard Stern's the king of shock jobs. But that's like what you're saying. He said, if you don't want to listen to me, don't tune in or whatever. But here's the deal. This is the game that men play. If you're walking down the street and you see a sign on somebody's lawn that says, "Stay off the grass," what's the first thing that's going to come into your mind?
Well, I'm not the right person to ask that question because if I see a sign that says,
"Yes, you are,"
if it says "Stay off the grass," I'm staying off the grass.
Why?
Because the sign says "Stay off the grass."
Because the sign says "Stay off the grass," right?
Right.
Then you have other people on the other spectrum that say, on the other side, that say, "I'm going to get on that grass because the sign says stay off."
What's going to happen to me if I go on this grass?
See, you know how you. They talk about like these cancel cultures and stuff like that. We're not gonna. That's how you really stop a person. If you don't want to if you don't want the bear to get bigger, don't feed his ass. Starve that motherfucker. But at the same time, don't tell me not to listen to him, because as soon as you told me not to listen to him, guess what I'm gonna do?
Listen. You're gonna listen to him
because I want to see what you don't want me to listen to. You see what I'm saying?
And like music. Frankie Goes to Hollywood had that great song, and MTV said, "We're not gonna play it because they're rude and vulgar." And what did everybody do right after they said it? They went out and bought it.
Exactly.
Because they wanted to hear what was so offensive.
Right.
Turned out. And it wasn't even all that offensive. It was relax, don't do it when you want to come.
Exactly.
Now, looking back on it, you're like, so? But back then in the 80s, it was a totally different world. That's when societal norms were just beginning to break down.
Yeah.
And things were starting to become more acceptable.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, back in the 70s, man, you couldn't even say damn on the radio.
Nah.
They beat that out.
Nah. Damn.
Shit. None of that. You couldn't say any of it.
None of those words. You can say none of those words. None of them.
Now the only word that they beat, and that's only if you're on certain formats, is fuck.
If you're listening to the regular radio station, if you fucking listen to anything else, they say whatever the fuck they want to say.
Like we are right now.
Whatever they want to say. But I mean, I've been watching a lot of period pieces and a lot of American history, especially from the 60s. Because like the 60s was like really the turning point of this country, especially for black people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And what I've come to find out is that whoever's in power is always going to try to control the people, however they feel that they need to. Because if you think for a moment that if you think that everybody is pleased on both sides of the house with the Supreme Court's decision,
You're
there's a
wrong.
lot of Republicans who are not pleased with it. I'm telling you, there are.
What?
Just like there are a whole bunch of Democrats who are pleased with it. You know what I'm saying? They'll never say it to you and me, but there are some people who just they have certain beliefs, and if you and they don't want sometimes they don't want to offend others with their beliefs.
And there's a difference between the two.
Right.
Democrats will be like, all right, we won't say anything out loud. We'll
Right.
have our party. We'll
Right.
have our party behind closed
Right.
doors.
Right. Right.
Republicans is like, party!
Right.
Woo!
Right. And the thing about them is that they've been given that platform to do so until somebody takes the platform away from them. I mean, I don't think it's too far fetched to see a political switch because they say Martin Luther King was a Republican.
He wasn't. He was acting. He had no faith. I mean, no party affiliation at all. But that's what they're saying. They're saying that he was a Republican. He wasn't. He was neither Republican nor Democrat.
But the
He
thing, but the reason why I would believe that is because in the '60s, Democrats were some of the most racist motherfuckers walking the planet Earth. Now you want to be a
until
black man's friend?
until 1964 with the passage of the Civil Rights Act.
And it took
That's when it switched.
and the thing about it is, it took y'all killing a president that you didn't want in office no way to get it done. See, my whole problem with relationships and all this stuff and everything like that, and people talking about it, is that there's nothing that can regulate a person's heart. Nothing. There's no law on any book in our country or in any country that can regulate how Owen and Allen moves. There is no law. You can
As there should
make
be.
laws, you can make them, but it won't stop me from being me. You see what I'm saying? That's why when going back to the relationship thing, I stress the point that a man has to know who he wants. And I think that's something that needs to be taught to young boys, even talked about. You know what I'm saying? What do you think? You got an idea, girl, or what kind of girl you want? I think that's why a lot of these kids growing up gay now, because ain't nobody talking to them about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Now you just being. I mean, you thinking it's cool giving up your booty or whatever, and it's like it's so. These niggas so flamboyant with it now. It's like, damn, I'm awkward for looking at you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, what the fuck? Damn, it's crazy, man. But I think they should have conversations like that with boys now. I think they should. I think it should be encouraged. I think that's why if you talk to a, I mean, Dad didn't talk to me about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But if he did, I mean, I had the like you. I have the what do you call it? I have the to be by myself and to have fun.
Oh yeah.
The imagination
Yeah.
to do that on my own, where nobody has to coach it to me. So I thought about a lot of things when I was a kid, by just on my own, just by seeing shit. You know what I'm saying? You remember me playing baseball in the driveway by myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think that's encouraged enough in young boys to talk about girls. I don't think. I mean, not in a respectful way, not like they
It's
bitches and hoes.
it's not spoken about even that way. The way it's been perpetuated, and it has been perpetuated, was that little boys grow up They hear the stuff on the radio. They stay there down in the stoops, and you get the bitches, you get the hoes, and you got to get your bag and this other thing. That's what they hear, and there's nobody to give them an alternative viewpoint.
Right.
No one's sitting there saying, "Well, hold up. Let me give you another avenue of thought to play with,"
Right.
and then you make up your mind and go from there.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
when people do that, or in this case, when boys do that, when they go through men and they do that, whatever they do, that's on them.
Right.
And whether we like it or not, I can at least say it hand on heart. I respect you for making up your mind yourself.
Yeah.
I don't agree with you, but I respect you.
Yeah. Right.
You can't even do that because these kids have been indoctrinated from a very young age that bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. And you got to get that bag. And you got to bend it over sideways. No other nonsense that they be talking about. And it's like, do people live that way? Some people live that way. You can't. That's the other thing. All stereotypes have some basis in truth. It's been exaggerated over time, but they all are backgrounded in some sort of truth. You can't have people who believe with all their hearts for guys that girls are only on this earth to give booty. You can't have girls growing up thinking, I'm going to get that man's bag at any and all costs.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. And it's sad because there's an entire generation of youngsters who are lost. And I don't know. I can sit here and preach till I'm blue in the face. You shouldn't live that way. There's other ways to do it. Sit down and let me explain to you other ways to do it and then make me mine. But people have their minds made up already. And once they've made their minds up, and that's where the lockjaw syndrome comes in. Once they've made their minds up, it's almost impossible to dislodge it. It's almost impossible to have somebody even say, like, you could be right. Let me think about that. No.
Unless they have a significant emotional event.
Right. And even then, it's suspect. One of these politicians could have their kids killed by a lone gunman with an AK-47 or AR-15, and they'll say all the right things. Oh, I can't believe that. But when the rubber meets the road, when push comes to shove, nothing happens because they're overlords. In this case, the NRA, like, we can't sell guns as you guys take the guns away. We have to sell guns. So here's a whole bunch of money for you to tell people that it's all right to buy guns. And this is what I mean about people. Now, there are people out there that spout this rhetoric who don't believe it at all. They're like, I believe in guns. I believe in guns. I believe in guns. I believe in guns. Do you have a gun? Oh, hell no. I ain't got no gun at all. I love my kids. I'm not going to have a gun at home. But to the public, oh, yeah, guns are good, guns are good, guns are great, guns are good. So, in closing, and just for general publication, we're going to do this again because we came off the main point. This was such a good conversation. It's so good talking to you, and all that good stuff like that. But you say that we should talk to boys and try to show them a different path.
I think it should be encouraged. I think you should see it in movies. Like, girls have their talks. When do you see? It's always awkward and stupid when a man talks to a boy in a movie. It shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I watch a lot of old TV, and I watch a lot of Andy Griffith. And Andy Griffith used to school Opie a lot. And you don't see that no more on TV. Not from a man to a boy. You don't see that no more. That's what our society, they want that shit. I don't.
And that's because they've made men the butt of the joke now.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you get the Simpsons. Homer Simpson's an idiot. Married with Children, Al's an idiot. All the Families is a bit older. Archie was a racist idiot. All these men were the butt of jokes. The woman became ascendant. What happened? Talk to your mother about it.
Right.
What, you ain't got a voice?
Yeah. Yep.
Now, full disclosure, with my kids, I'll sit there and say that, but that's only because a lot of times I don't want to be the villain. It's like, the answer is no. You can ask your mother, but I'm going to tell you it's going to be no. And then they go ask mom, and they go, oh, mom said no. I said, I told you. But anyway, thank you very much for doing this again, Alan.
No problem.
Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna make you a host. You're gonna co-host with me from going forward, man.
Okay.
Because it is really good bouncing things off you and hearing a perspective point. There will be things that we don't agree on, but we can be civil about it.
Right.
We can talk about it, and who knows? One or both of us may be swayed at one point or other.
Maybe. You never know.
No. But anyway, thank you very much for joining.
No problem.
Thanks for tuning. Thanks you all for tuning into another episode of From the Soapbox. Once again, if you like the show, at the very least, click the like button. It takes a second to do it, and it goes a long way to helping the YouTube algorithms push the show out to get more people to watch it, and that's how we go because we grow organically. If you like, when we rock with the show and you like what you hear, consider subscribing to it. This way, you're on the list. And then hit the notification bell so that you know when we go live and we have special content, things like that. And speaking of special things, the next couple of weeks, Obi and Alan are going live. We're going to start doing live streams, Alan.
Okay.
Where people can, and then
Sounds
if
good.
you like the show, then you can do super chats, you can do donations. We got a Patreon page going on through our cohorts, the Group Tunes Music Group. There are plenty of ways to interact with us. Be sure to find the way that you want to rock with and go with it. And once again, until the next, for Spank J and OBJ, this is the brother saying, peace.
See you later.
But when they're taking things like the 6 for 1 and there's the salary, I'm like, well, I'm going, what?
Yeah. And when masculine men see a woman that they like, they will meet oh. Yeah. Now, that woman, I think, in these days, she's fine. And reprogram people, you shouldn't say this, you shouldn't say that.